Hello, welcome to episode 6, I think, of Our Life Now and Forever. We'll be playing the Wheels moments, because last time we played the Walks one, and then next we'll play Step 2 preview, so yeah, let's get to it. Yes, begin. I'm just gonna apologise before everything that I'm not very good at reading out loud. So, yeah. Oh, we get to change character again. Okay, this time I'll give them... Nah. We'll go with this. Sure. This one. Okay. Oh, alright, well. Cool. It was another cloudy Saturday in Golden Grove when the three kids reconvened in the middle of their cul-de-sac. The moment had come to fulfill the promise you'd made to go riding around the park together. Baxter and Darren were going to meet you part way there again. Q said so as soon as he showed up. And this time you told your mum before leaving the house that you were going to be out of the neighborhood. She said to have fun and thank you for always keeping her up to date with your business schedule. Q narrowed his eyes. It intensified the spark inside them like a magnifying glass directing a laser beam of sunlight. The bridge in the forest was most amazing to Tamarack, but this was Q's special thing. Let's go get our bikes. He added a bit more with a much softer humour. And Scooter. The three of you split off to your own houses along the curve of the cul-de-sac, each kid disappearing around a corner or through the front door. You got your bike and made it to the meeting spot without any problems. Tamarack and Q weren't there. You were going to have to wait. Standing there with a hand on the handlebar and nothing else to do, you glanced over your ride. Okay, I filled you with confidence. Your bike was super cool. You just smile, so cute and great. You loved your bike. You hated the thing. Wow. I think I'm doing a playthrough where I'm like, just a terrible kid. I hate everything and everyone. But I don't know, I'm not very good at reading, so... You hated the thing. Your bike was reliable. Then you sighed. It's ancient. That was good enough. That's do you wish you would never outgrow it. See, nothing fancy. My bike was very normal when I was a kid. But yeah, I filled you with confidence. Your bike was super cool. Great. For the helmet, my mind got on you a completely normal shaped one. It was multicolored. I think I had a black and red one or pink and black one. I don't know. There was a new one, and all the plainer backup helmet was in your room. It was only a few minutes until the three of you were together again on the road, each with your wheels of choice. Q rolled forward to be right between you and Tamarack, and to be the very center of attention. His bike was his pride and joy. He bragged about it basically as soon as you knew him, and finally, the day had come where he was able to show it off. It was exactly as Q always described, black with silver splatters. The bike was polished to a reflective gleam that made the nicks and scratches it did have stand out. He'd used his wheels a lot, even though he'd taken care of it. Q launched into a dynamic spiel on the qualities of the bike, listing off one feature after the other. His ride had great treads and a lot of different gears and amazing suspension. You weren't sure if Q knew why those were good things, but they sure were good. It did look bigger and sturdier than the typical kid's style you could get at any store. The helmet under Q's arm was unique too. It was for serious dirt biking, with a face cover and everything. When Q's explanation eventually ended, Tamarack chimed in to give her ride an introduction of its own. Hers was a whole lot shorter. Mine's really pretty, huh? She drummed her fingers against the handlebars. Q's bike was so incredible it must have been forged from the most powerful materials. Meanwhile, Tamarak's scooter looked like it came from Candyland. The main part was basil pink with purple, squishy handles and purple not squishy wheels. There wasn't even a hint of dullness or one scuff anywhere. It would have looked brand new except it was covered in tons of stickers. From top to bottom, rainbows, cutie animals and sparkly holographic hearts were plastered next to skulls, fire and danger signs that might have glowed in the dark. You had a hard time thinking she protected her scooter more than Q cherished his bike. It was possible covering it in stickers was the only thing she had ever used it for. Tamarak's helmet didn't have stickers. Maybe she decided that it was cool enough already. The extra round shape has stripes of different colours and, oh yeah, a huge row of spikes. If you counted those, she might almost be as tall as Q for once. And thinking of Q, he shivered at Tamarak's decked out scooter. He tried to talk in his normal voice. It wouldn't be very polite to voice how horrified he obviously was, but Q couldn't hide it. You're never going to be able to scrape that off. I don't want to lose the stickers, they make it better. But they're going to get old and fade and tear, and then what? I'll add more. Hell yeah! Tamarak had an answer to every question. But then, Q closed his mouth. He must have thought the same thing you just did. Never mind. He thought hell yeah as well? I don't think so. Your stuff is good, but mine is better. You both have such great rides. Your things are okay. Neither of your rides are any good. Wow. Yeah, if Tamarak wants to mess up her things with stickers, no one can stop her. I think the stickers are awesome. Tamarak, your bike is cool, cute, just like you said. Your bike is a bit let down. I want something just like yours, cute. Yours, Tamarak, better. You both have such great rides. Thank you. Tamarak cheered and all that was missing was a horn she could have honked to punctuate her excitement. It would have fit perfectly, but that was more of a bike thing. You get it, my bike is the best. Q's words came out extra eager. He'd been waiting for praise to come in. That was when the attention went to what you'd brought. Tamarak and Q silently scrutinized your bike. Oh no. They were gonna like it, you were sure. How could they not? Q scrutinized it like he was a professional bike judge or something. It's in really good shape. I like it, Reed. It's gonna be really fun to ride together. And it's great to know I still have the best bike in the whole block. Wow. Okay. His words were genuine praise, despite him not being able to give them without a little teasing. I don't know how you're supposed to ride something like that. Tamarak, though, was 100% impressed. Then Q refocused on being in charge of this trip. Okay, no more messing around, let's suit up. The trio of cul-de-sac kids strapped on helmets. Oh, his spikes are so cool. When Q got his bulky helmet on, he gave the thing a smack on the side of his own head. He had to make sure it still worked, you guessed. Wow. Tamarak tugged tight at the chin strap, so it practically fused with her face. It would not be budging no matter what happened. It worked from seeing Darren again. This is gonna be fun. The tiny expedition put sneakers to the pedals, shoes to the pavement, and you were ready on your way. Your neighborhood was behind you in a matter of seconds. The whole wide world was in front of you. With your wheels under you, you were free to go wherever, anywhere. Shit. Riding into town on the bumpy road, up and down, side to side, made you think of 3 leaves being swept along by the flow of a river. Everybody giggled and oohed each time you tip over the hump of a hill. When gravity took over, Tamarak leaned to the side and stuck her chest past the scooter's bar to get the full blast of wind. Q kicked his legs up and let the pedals spin completely out of control. You lowered yourself to catch some extra speed. You flew by the mix of houses and trees until there was no more forests or homes. What surrounded you were rows of business buildings. The massive arch declaring this place as Golden Grove acts as a finish line for the leg of the journey. Everybody dismounted but left helmets on. This wouldn't take long, according to Q. Even so, he announced it'd be the best to wait somewhere else. 3 of you moved to get out of the street. Bikes and scooters and things like that could take someone far, but cars were the unchallenged rules of the road. It took your feet a second to feel normal walking around on solid ground again. They were still tingly from the vibrations of the ride here. But everyone's safety got themselves and their wheels onto the sidewalk. We'd officially arrived at the first milestone. The treasure chest shop was right down the sidewalk on the corner. You still remember stocking up for supplies, rock, paper, scissors, and the trip to the special place in the forest. We had other destinations ahead of that day. You remained huddled near the front of the barber shop waiting. Anytime some random person came by, it was a challenge to let them pass. Your rides took up a whole lot of space. But you had been right. Soon you heard the clicky zip of bike wheels coming closer, zooming down a side street where the missing members of Q's boys club were. Baxter's bike was a blinding bright white on the body. The chains, wheels, and other mechanical stuff were black. He casually leaned back so that the one arm he used to hold onto the bike could stretch out fully. Darren's ride was an electric blue with orangey, yellowy reflectors strapped in the front and back. He lifted himself off the seat and stretched over the handlebars. The two had swapped their normal headgear with helmets. And all the boys looked kinda different in other ways too. Baxter had always worn a sweater whenever you saw him. He chose to go without it for the bike ride. He weren't sure why. For Darren, it took a bit longer to realise that what had changed, but you got it. He had taken off those fuzzy black gloves. You could imagine why Darren would do that. Q whooped seeing them. He tried to wave and get closer, but keeping his bike steady didn't make it easy. The whole thing did help make him easy to spot though. Darren and Baxter came to a screeching stop in front of you before going over a curb and knocking your group over like bowling pins. Hey. Hello. The whole set of them were decked out in smiles. After your first time out together at the bridge, it had become a whole lot easier for those older boys to be around Q's neighbours. Hello. Tamarack's reaction was beyond just being curious or bored, like how she might greet any stranger who happened to cross her path. She did know those boys. It was nice, the way you could get to know somebody, the way things could change day by day. The tallest of the boys started a chat with his buddies. The helmet is pretty cool. Darren nudged his uncharacteristically ungloved hand in Tamarack's direction. Do you think Mum would get me one? Oh yeah, it's awesome, and no way. She'd never let you go out looking like such a rebel. Yeah, it won't happen. Not fair. Sorry, but Rita's good too. The three of them grabbed about helmets and bikes among themselves. Meanwhile, Tamarack ran her finger along the sides of her spiky helmet and grinned. Darren might not have said it to the girl herself, but he said it about her. That was something. At some point, the topic of the conversation became about the actual rides rather than the safety gear. Tamarack doesn't have a bike. How is she gonna keep up? Tamarack squinted her eyes, insulted by such questioning. Hey, scooters are just as good as bikes. Darren couldn't meet her dark red gaze. He could only mumble out of one corner of his mouth. Not for going fast. Before Tamarack could disagree again, only for Darren to say something else she didn't like, Q laughed. Wow, Darren, it's so nice of you to want to make sure nobody gets left behind, but you know. Q slowly smiled before gradually getting higher on his toes until he was nearly eye level with Darren. I could ask the same question every time I ride with anyone else, because no one is as fast as me. Q cut his hand through the air like he was striking down on an invisible field of opponents. Then he jabbed a hooked finger into Darren's chest. Maybe the challenge wasn't pretend after all. But I don't ask it and I have fun anyway, and so do other people. Alright, it's gonna be good. This time Darren whispered from the opposite sides of his lips. Alright. That's fine with me too. She doesn't need to use a bike. Okay, good. Tamarack said while letting Darren out from under her glare. Instead of him, Tamarack focused on the road. And after spending the entire time giving his words intentions to Q, Baxter spoke directly to you and Tamarack. We're not going to stop again before we've reached the park. Yep, we're not sticking around this place. The proud scooter girl squeezed her squishy handles until the plastic morphed around her fingers. You were setting out once again. Q led the way past Main Street and knocked and down multiple other streets you didn't know the names of. The boys' club took every sudden turn and bend as easily as they could go in a circle, though they never left Tamarack behind. In fact, Tamarack stayed as close to them as possible, forcing blind determination to match their knowledge of what exactly they were doing. And eventually the sky opened up in front of you. The buildings that blocked it out were pushed outside to make room for a forest living directly inside of Golden Grove. If the main street was the heart of the town, this was its soul. You shot straight through the entrance. The path was wide enough for the 5 rides to spread out from a cluster to a row. Orange, red and yellow leaves, fallen leaves covered the ground. They scattered in a whirlwind from the wheels that rushed over them like a cloud of monarch butterflies that taken to the skies. The wind whipping past your rays carried a shout of exhilaration from Q. Tamarack's scooter vibrated going over whatever the roads were made out of here. It was buzzing. Okay, no. You raced like the wind. Free from the obstacles of cars and sidewalks, the boys' club pulled further and further ahead of Tamarack. Her scooter with a single little leg pushing it along just couldn't match the speed of double-pedaled bikes. Before Tamarack was actually left behind, Q called out again. Brake. One after the other, Q, Darren and Baxter slammed on their brakes, coming to dramatic stops. It was exactly what the 2 other boys had done when they first showed up. Tamarack jumped right off her scooter. She clutched the handles and ran alongside it until she'd gotten her speed to halt. We're here, it's the park. You were the last to stop moving, doing it the most slowly and carefully. Everybody climbed off their stuff. Everyone who didn't already do it, that was, and then grouped in an almost circle. Q's boys were at his side, and they faced you and Tamarack. The club leader kept his bike upright with one arm and had the other arm free so it could move all around as he spoke. This is it. Welcome to Golden Grove Park. And that's the name. It isn't called anything else. There aren't any other parks nearby. So, Q flicked a hand casually. You get the point, is what he was signaling with her words. It sucks, wow. This is pretty nice. I like it. But the normal forest is still the best. And special thing is the most special. Tamarack added the last part decisively. There could not be any misunderstandings happening about her ranking of good stuff. That's not bad, and your Golden Grove would have something you'd both like. Q grasped his bike with both hands, raring to go again after only a few seconds. You'll like it even better once you see more. There's a couple of paths going around here. One of them is this big loop through the entire park. We could ride down that way, it doesn't take long. And we passed by a couple and we passed by a cool gazebo on the other end. What are we going to do after that? We'll see what happens when we get there. The half plan got mixed reaction. Baxter smirked unaffectedly, which he would have done no matter what, you were sure, and Darren went back to his old way of being sour. Q gave his friend a side-eye and crooked smile. Again, he didn't need to talk to say what he wanted to express. Come on, Darren, what's going on? Was the general message. Darren sucked in a breath while his chin sunk lower as if the helmet was crushing his head. We came all the way to the park. We should race, like we always do. His voice crackled like it always did when he felt a lot of emotions. It must have been a tradition important to the club, or at least to one member of it. Sorry, Darren, we can't this time. Why not? Why? Q tripped on Tamarak's question. To him, she of everyone should get why. Because how are you going to race on a scooter? I don't want to race. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to, we're not racing today. You can race without me. What? You want to do something that will leave you out? He knew Tamarak sometimes went off by herself, but the idea of not getting to be part of the main event was more horrifying to Q than covering his beloved bike and stickers. Yeah, you boys club can do your boys club stuff. Q opened his mouth, poised to disagree with the suggestion that he'd go off without her and with the implication that she wasn't part of the club. But Tamarak was more forceful with her thoughts than Q, and she kept going. You don't have to do what me and Reed do all the time. You want us to see the parks, and we did. We went to a special place together. We're still friends if we don't play together the whole day at the park. Darren was open-mouthed, stunned over Tamarak disagreeing blatantly with Q. It still couldn't match how befuddled the Q was. Okay. If all your arms nodded with others, everyone could do different things. Q said nothing, though a hint of a smile did return to his face. Darren's confidence grew. His chin wasn't hiding anymore, he lifted it. Tamarak continued the fight for a race. It was a tag team effort and her turn had to come around again. I cheer really loud when you go by, so you won't forget I'm here. Then, to surprise everybody, one speaker tossed in their 2 cents, the most mature and a fake accent one. It's a good idea, I'm not a racer. Whenever we do this, it's between you and Darren anyway, I'd rather watch. Huh. Q hadn't known that about his friend, and it was a convincing point. Maybe Baxter's words counted as more than a couple pennies since he was so rich. This had all sent Q for a spin, and a bike wheel going out of control, but he planted his feet onto the pedals again. Alright, the club members, and not yet club person, have voted. We're gonna split up. Anyone who wants to race is with me, and everybody else can do whatever they want. But he paused momentum. He'd been building up himself with a lift of a finger, then Q peeked at the group through a single eye. Let's go around the park together before we leave, okay? Okay. Cool. Tamarak grinned victoriously. Q turned it into a compromise at the very end, but Tamarak considered it a win for her side. Darren managed a tiny smile over it too. Oh no. Okay. Do I want to race? Could I join the race too? Okay. The deal was done. A 3-way race was happening. Oh no, okay. You had a lot of experience and a ton of skill with your wheels. You knew your way around your wheels. It was as easy as walking. You weren't the best on your wheels, but you weren't the worst either. You were a total beginner, pretty bad at those wheels. You just had a chance, you already knew it. Okay, I was okay with biking. I fell a few times, but that's okay. You knew your way around wheels. It was as easy as walking. Q gave you an eager thumbs up. If he didn't have to hold his bike, it probably would have been too. Then Q laid out how things were gonna work, listing off points with a count of his finger. You'd follow a side path to the end, go around the gazebo, and take the same route back to the start. It wouldn't make the full loop around the edge of the park, just a shorter route that got through the center. There was a reminder to stay away from each other, the grass and the pedestrians, though Q needed to try to properly say that word out loud. He found out aggressions into things, that was the idea. The race would begin on the word go. Got it? Got it. Yeah, I got it. Speaking in a stiff, official manner, Q addressed the 2 non-racers. Baxter and Tamarak, would you do us the honor of counting down? Yes, I will. She can do it. Good luck. Tamarack was way more pumped about the job than he was. He could let her have it. Cool. Q slapped his head of his helmet again and declared it was time. To your starting positions. Yeah, I'm so ready. The competitive spirit possessed Darren for a second and he cheered wholeheartedly. But it left soon. Darren was a little embarrassed by the declaration. The competitors lined up side by side. Each one climbed onto their bike. Tamarack stood close by and slid her scarf from her neck, gripping it tight. 1, 2, 3. A moment of pure silence. Even Tamarack could show some patience if it was for dramatic effect. Go. She flung the cloth into the air like a flag. The race began with a whir of spinning wheels and scattering of autumn leaves. The three of you were off on the deck. The perfect row you'd started in held steady at first anyway. You inched ahead of the other two. You glanced at the followers out of the corner of your eyes. Oh, there's a bike stuff. He wasn't messing around. Q did the bike equivalent of putting the pedal to the metal, slamming all his weight onto forcing the bike forward. It closed the gap. This race wasn't decided just yet. Okay. Whoa! Hop. You and Q messed around. Having lighter race exchanges, Darren kept completely out of it. He wasn't wasting any breath. The end of the path approached rapidly. This was not an endurance race, it was about a burst of pure speed. Cold wind whipped across your skin, hot blood pumped through your body. It was exhilarating. Your mum liked that word, and this had to be the feeling she was trying to explain. The turn around the gazebo split the races apart more clearly than before. First you, then Q, then lastly Darren. At that point, Darren had fell behind. All the boy couldn't come back from it. This was between you and Q. He glanced across the road, rushing underneath both of you, grinning boldly. Q wasn't slowing down, he was speeding up. Okay, alright then, you pushed harder using every bit of it. Strengthen your legs, be easy, but you kept trying, wouldn't give up. 2 worn out, that's fine. Okay. Crash to the ground. Okay, alright then, you pushed harder using every bit of strengthen your legs. You and Q then Darren reached a point in the path where Tamarack and Baxter chose to hang out. Ah, they're coming. Over the roar of the wind, Tamarack's cheers could still be heard. She flailed the extra long ends of her sweater sleeves. Tamarack kept her promise. Nobody could forget she was still there. Go Reed, you can do it. Baxter gave a respectful round of applause to each of the riders as they flew past, no matter what place they were in. Then those two were gone. Your legs burned and your sweaty fingers shook from clasping too tight for too long. But the last yards of the race, it was like the two of you were the only people in the park. No, in the entire world. Each time you thought you had the lead, Q would close in again, and any time he tried to break away, you refused to let him. Neither competitor would give. But in a flash, it was over. You stopped on a dime at the entrance of the park. Q slammed on his brakes right behind you. For the first time since it began, everything had stilled. Then Q stamped the sole of his red left sneaker to the ground and tore his heavy helmet from his head as if getting off the bike the fastest was suddenly the new race. His head snapped towards you, but Q was speechless. It was only by a little, 1 inch or 2, possibly 2, but you had won. Hell yeah! Okay. I did it! Wow. He burst with enthusiasm you never expected. That reminded you more of Tamarack than Q. He was thrilled about not being first. Q outright beamed at you. It was as if getting second for once was still a victory for him in some sideways perspective. I'll win next time, definitely. So maybe it wasn't losing that made him happy. Q liked having some real competition in town. You could enjoy the thought for now, but soon he learned there was no competition anymore. You were always going to win. Darren coasted up from behind you and Q. His legs were kicked in the air, not bothering to pedal. His face was twisted in confusion. Reed won? She did. Q proclaimed it boldly, without hesitation, but for Darren, that was a hard fact to swallow. Not only did he still lose to Q, the new kid on the block was even faster than that. Darren cracked a small smirk, dropping his feet to the concrete. I really lost. We could do it again sometime. What, we? Did that mean you too? Definitely, that was the most fun race in years. I don't know if it was the most fun race. He mumbled into the collar of his vest, but didn't sink low enough to hide the corners of his mouth perking up. It was a joke. Darren was trying to make a joke. That was different. And so was him talking directly to you, not about you towards Q or Baxter. It was pretty cool. You're really good on the bike. Let's go. Okay, okay. I am cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you weren't bad either. Darren clammed up. That was enough conversation for him, at least with you. Q dropped in like a lifeline, rescuing you and Darren from an awkward silence. The words weren't empty filler though. His enthusiasm was real. You said it, Darren. There's no challenge too tough for you, is there, Reed? It makes sense that you beat me. Spending the afternoon together, having a race against him, it made you think. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, this is embarrassing. Okay. You said he could be a crush, good for him. Wow, what line? It was so incredible that you made a friend like him. Tamarack bounded over. She left her scooter on the grass and was entirely unrestrained. Baxter leisurely followed behind. His hands were in his pockets, his bike propped against a bench. It kind of looked like a cute poodle got off her leash and the fancy owner didn't care if she jumped on visitors. That was amazing. You were amazing, Reed. He would have said that no matter what. She would have said that no matter what. You were positive. Tamarack was your best friend after all. This isn't a disaster. Q innocently hooked an arm around Darren. Yes, of course it didn't. What'd you expect? With its rider's attention elsewhere, Q's bike slowly began to lean. Baxter silently pointed a finger at it. Q left to stop it from falling over completely. The panic transferred through Q directly onto Darren. He instinctively reached past Q to try grabbing the precarious vehicle too, but that just caused his own bike to start slipping. Ah! The two broke apart from the hug to rescue their bikes in a nick of time. Q and Darren sighed in relief while Baxter chuckled fondly at his friends. Something like that was probably about what he expected. It was time to fulfill his second promise of the day, to go for a ride all together. The group decided to make a full loop around the park. Okay, you were happy to get back on your own bike. Reed, Darren, this is victory lap for the three of us. We competed, and that's something to be proud of no matter what place you got. Yeah. Tamarack and Baxter made eye contact with each other. Q was one thing, but Darren agreeing with such a friendly take on it, they could only imagine what they missed. Tamarack simply coasted on her scooter, not fighting to be at the front for a change. Q pedaled along at a slow pace and let his arms hang down completely. You stayed at the same pace as the crowd, letting your wheels carry you more than anything. Hey, what was the prize for winning the race? Nothing. Baxter shook his head with a smirk. Clearly things had become a bit too peaceful for his liking. It's not a real race without a prize. Darren should have to show for Reed. Darren's face sprang open from the shock of Baxter's taunt. What's a chauffeur? A person who drives others around as a job. Makes sense, right? No, more like the people who didn't race at all should give us athletes a break and drive us around. The not racer shrugged on his bike. Sorry, we aren't that sportsmanly. Yep, sorry. It took a little time, but Darren managed to get into the boys' clubs back and forth. Then you don't get to say what the prize is. Tamarack teeheed, Q laughed, and Baxter chuckled. Darren snickered, and you giggled. It was another long day with the club, plus Tamarack, who didn't want to officially be a member. Despite her standpoint on that, the 5 of you had gone through a lot for the short time you lived there. You made it to a special place and you went through the park. You got first place in the race, and you rained cashews down on the trio of boys. Tarek and Q were your friends. Okay, Okay. You hope Darren and Bass liked you. Yeah, okay. The mood had gotten so different from the presence of your first experience there. Q didn't try to make people have fun, they already were. Tarak wasn't eager to do something new because she wasn't bored of this. Darren couldn't think of a point to complain about, and Lass didn't make a fresh joke this time. People were satisfied and a little sleepy. If it wasn't chilly, maybe some of them would have nodded off, even though they were in the middle of riding their wheels. From front and back and all around, there was somebody you recognized. Every day the people in this town weren't strangers because you didn't know them. They were strangers because you did know. They were strangers because you did know. You were stuck in it. Round and round, the whole set through the Golden Grove Park was for as long as your parents had allowed it. Woo! Okay. I don't know how long the preview is, so I don't want to get into that right now. Do I? I don't know. Oh shit. Okay, no, wait, hold on. I'll save. Okay. I'll save here. Yep. Return to game. This includes a preview of Step 2. Part of the preview will be arranged differently in the final game. Saves you made during Step 2 preview will not be loadable in the final version of the game. Are you sure you want to continue? Oh, I don't know. I need to go to the store as well today. Do I? How long is the preview? Okay, you know what? I'll end it here. And I'll check back later. And I might upload 2 videos today then. If I decide to play the preview. Okay, enough of me talking. Okay. Yep, thank you for watching the video if you made it this far. Subscribe maybe, I don't know. Do what you want, I guess. Yep. Bye.